his rhymes cause his memories. We running through New York so you never leave. Strap my lungs then we puffin' through with that, right? We're giving them some stories, they come back like manic this, manic that, while you crawling to me. The how we gonna...
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a video about why you should buy a used BMW E60. Now I've been seeing a lot of videos online from other YouTubers and other videos regarding why you shouldn't buy a used BMW and why you shouldn't buy a used BMW E60. And you know, you guys already know who I'm trying to get at and who makes these kind of videos. And as you guys know, a lot of these people that make these videos is because they haven't got the brain cells or the capability to actually fix these cars or actually diagnose these cars. I'm going to speak to you and tell you exactly why you should buy one of these cars used and why you should buy a BMW E60. Now, for your normal person like me, these cars are not difficult at all. If you are not mechanically minded, you are not very skilled with computers and will not take the time to learn diagnostics or don't have the time for it, then these cars ain't for you. But if you do have the time to study these cars, then this car is for you. As many people say, you cannot run these cars without fixing it yourself. It's the truth. You cannot run these cars without fixing it yourself. You cannot run these cars without actually diagnosing them yourself. Because if you go in for the diagnostics amount of fault codes this car has, you will spend £50, £50 a time diagnosing these cars, and the amount of money you'll spend on diagnostics will be unbelievable. So let's get on to the E60. I'm going to show you why you should buy one of these. So guys, as you guys know, this is my E60. It's quite dirty because it hasn't been used. It's got cobwebs around the mirrors. It's just been sitting. So the first reason why I'm going to tell you why you should buy one of these E60s is they still look modern even to this day and age from 2019. They have aged really well and they still blend in and look nicer than some newer cars still as today. Now, as you guys know, we look at Ford Fiestas in this country and Vauxhall Astras, and you guys know what I'm getting at already. Them cars are the body, they just don't have the body style of a BMW. This car was made in an era where way before its time. It's got the exact styling people want. It's got every gadget you could want. You know, manufacturers are coming out with some of the gadgets built on this car as of still just today. And this car's already got the gadgets that manufacturers are bringing out as new technology. Now, BMW's had it out a long time. So, that being said, they're not cheap to look after. Why do people buy them? Well, one reason is depreciation. When people go and look at a car, they look at a 2012, 2013 Ford. And some people go and buy that because they don't want to spend £3.5, £4 grand on an E60. So they'll go and buy a Ford Fiesta because they know they can get a newer plate. But then you have just some people who think they want to have a BMW, not actually realizing the true expense behind these cars and what you need to actually maintain them and run them. These cars are not for everybody, as a lot of you know. A lot of you message me all the time that you've got a problem with this, problem with that, you can't diagnose it, you're using cheap scanners, and cheap scanner is not going to work for you on this kind of car. You need to have ISTA. You have to have ISTA with this car. I've said it from the day I started YouTube, I'll say it to the day I finish YouTube. ISTA is going to be your only cause for these kind of cars and any newer BMWs. You cannot think you're going to try and own one of these cars and think that you're going to be able to run it with a cheap diagnostic scanner. It doesn't work like that. These cars don't like cheap. If you're going to be cheap, you pick the wrong car. You cannot be cheap on these cars, and the same goes for engine mechanicals as well. As you guys know, this has the M52. We're not going to really get onto the engine side because the engine isn't really relevant to this, because you can get them on in all platforms in the UK. I don't know about the US, it's very limited, but here we get them in all the platforms. We're focusing on the chassis of the car. So when we go inside of the car, as you'll see here, you'll know already you have a lot of computer systems in this car. Now, this alone on this car was way ahead of its time. You got to remember, this E60, E90, these cars were way ahead of the era with the first cars with the iDrive. Now, these cars are still worth the money still of today, and I will tell you why. You guys think that because it's got iDrive, it's left behind and the new cars have CIC. A lot of you guys know, and some of you don't know, you can upgrade that to the CIC and do the retrofit. Now, if you retrofit it, you'll have the same exact system and the same scroll wheel, which will go down there, as the newer cars with the menu, the Bluetooth audio, you name it, you can have exactly what the newer cars have got. Fair enough, you won't get the nice interior, but that's another thing. One thing you have to be aware of with these cars is they have a lot of computer modules. People go and buy them, not aware of it, just buy them and think they can just drive them and then nothing's going to go wrong. They think completely wrong. Then I see a lot of people regretting it, and then they're the ones that go on YouTube putting it down why you shouldn't buy a used BMW. Now, the likes of old people, for instance, on YouTube will be putting them down. People that is too complicated for their brain, who are used to the E30 era, the E36 era, no computerized cars. Them kind of people are getting left behind because they will never be able to understand these cars. You know, there's some big channels out there that try and put BMWs down. The reason they put BMWs down is because they've got very shrapnel brains, and their brains cannot understand all the complexity of the modern day cars and the modern day eras of computers. They are so far behind that come the newer cars, their channels are going to fall, and this is why mine is going to grow. And this is why I said to you, because I'm already way advanced with these cars. As you guys know, I do the cloning. Modules for me on these cars are not a problem. As you know, you've got the iDrive, you've got the CAS, which sits right down here, you've got the steering lock module, which sits down here, you've got the light module in there. You've got a lot of different modules in this car, and it's something you have to be aware of, that when you buy one of these, do not think it's going to be your average little Ford, that the parts are going to be cheap, you can buy from a scrap yard, you can do this, you can do that. It just doesn't work like that. I've never known a car to work like that ever in my life, and I still won't to this day and age. You know, there's no BMW from the E60, E90, E91, E92, E87, you name it, that will run and be perfectly capable of running. You can get E46s, and a lot of people say they've had no trouble with it. If you want that car, I advise you to go for there. I see a lot of people coming to the E60 era and then moaning about the car that they wish they never got it. It's been the worst car of their life. If it's been the worst car of your life, it's simply because you're spending a lot of money at garages, having it repaired and not doing it yourself. I've spent a lot of money on this car, but you know what? This car, like I said, has been the most incredible car I've ever owned. It's been the most reliable car. You will not find another one like this. You'll be very hard pushed to find another car like this. Like I said to you, these are good cars. You know, you have people with the CAS selector interlock on. When you go and buy these cars, there's another common problem. That's because people have messed up the modules because they don't know what they're doing. You get a lot of people with the IHKA not working, need a new one programmed. These cars require a lot of programming, a lot of coding. It is not as simple as swapping out a module anymore and being done with like many people think. Everything on these cars need programming, and as you know, for the F-Series, they've got even worse, to the point even starter motors need registering now. They're gonna get worse over time, and if a lot of you ain't gonna keep up with the computer side of things, you're gonna be left behind on these cars. You cannot go and own a BMW, even from the E60 side all the way up, without having ISTA, without knowing the coding, without knowing the programming. Modules do fail. They fail from heat, they'll fail from whatever it is. It's just normal. It's nothing to do with BMW's fault, nothing to do with any of their fault. It's common. Just like a computer fails at home, just like a mobile phone fails and you have to renew it, same on computers in cars. It just comes with the cost of BMW. These cars are not bad cars at all if looked after properly. Mine is a perfect example of that. As you guys know, mine, iDrive, working. You know, heated seats working. You guys saw I repaired the parking sensors when it was out. What did I do? I went and got the new parking sensor immediately. I am like that with these cars. I've always been like that. The moment something fails, you repair it. You know, most people, I just want to show you guys something. Let's see. You guys can see here, I've got electric steering column. Now, majority of people in the US, that would have failed for them. Now, let me guys just show you. Mine's 2006. You see the mileage up there, 160K. Let me just show you, for instance, right now. Mine is still working from this day forward. Yeah, I've got no problems with my electric steering wheel at all. It comes in, it goes out with no issues. Now, if I put the key back in and restart the car, you just see that. It just drops straight back down. Now, that is because mine has not been a neglected car. Mine has been a well looked after car. This wasn't working when I bought it. Let me tell you that. The electric steering column wasn't working. I had to redo that. I had to redo the whole system, which meant taking all the cowling off and getting to it and repairing it. I sorted that. It wasn't working properly. It was getting stuck. It was sticking, but I've made it work. Now, a lot of people will just neglect it and just keep driving it. They're the kind of owners that are not suitable for BMW. If you're going to neglect a problem when it arises, don't even get BMW. If you have money left that you can exactly put in the moment it needs the part, as I've said to you on all videos, if you're not going to pay for the repair when it's needed and just keep leaving it and think you'll do it when you next get paid, they're the kind of owners that shouldn't own BMW. If you're the type like me who's going to repair it immediately, then by all means, go and buy a BMW. If you want to learn about the computer side of things, go and buy a BMW. But I do not feel, if you haven't got the time to learn the computer side of things as well as the mechanical side of things, don't buy an E60, don't buy an E90. These cars are not bad cars at all. I would go and buy another one, no questions asked. I'm looking to purchase another car as we speak now. You know, I'm looking to purchase either an E65 or maybe even a 1 Series. I've got many cars I'm looking to purchase. As you guys know, a E65 is what a lot of people are scared of, again, but it doesn't bother me. You know, and that is why I can just go and buy them. I don't have to worry about if there's something wrong with them or if something's going to fail, because I have the skills to do that. I know a lot of you don't have them kind of skills, but like I say, I think a lot of people as well are very lazy to learn. They don't want to learn, they just want to come, you tell them what to do, and that's it, job done. I think that's the end of it. There will be another problem, and there will be another problem, and there will be another problem, and that's the thing with BMW. Do not think it's going to be one problem and fixed. This is not like your normal Ford. Yes, these cars are reliable, only if you maintain them properly. If you decide to neglect them, they will become the most unreliable car you can ever think of getting. These cars are super reliable only if you maintain them to the degree they want. That's it. Now guys, as you see here, you know, when I'm telling you why you should buy a BMW E60, just when you look up the spoiler I've done and, you know, the exhaust, there isn't much other cars that will have this kind of sporty styling as much as the E60. You know, when you buy the M Sports, they have such good styling. You know, you don't need to go and buy a normal Ford and try and kit it up like a young boy racer. You have no need to do that. You know, you don't have to look stupid. When you buy a BMW, it comes proper. You know, you see the M Sport, it comes fully sported up, you know, and if I'm honest with you, you cannot compare this to any kind of other car. BMW has a styling like no other when it comes to M Sport. They have the styling, they know what they're doing, and they know how to make M Sports. You know, that you can't beat their sport models. Like I said to you, if you want a car that still blends in with the modern day, this is the best car for you. I recommend buying one of these cars only if you're going to put the time in to learn how to repair these cars and also diagnose these cars, because these cars need a lot of diagnostics. Even when you go to buy them, if you have ISTA, I can guarantee you will end up with fault codes already in the modules that people ain't even aware of. You know, there's people that I know that go and see 60s all the time and their diagnostics port is all pulled open and it's all open. You have to be aware of that, because what a lot of people do when you go and buy one of these, they try and clear the fault codes, and then the moment a new owner goes and buys it, they're like, oh my god, they've sold me wrong on this, I knew this was going to be a bad car. Do not go trying to buy one of these thinking it's going to be perfectly fine and you're going to be able to drive it to wherever you want, you're going to be able to do thousands of miles. It does not work like that. I've explained to you many times, when you buy one of these cars, they need overhauling. Do not even think of trying to drive it 1,000, 2,000 miles and it's going to last you. Trust me, it's not going to. I guarantee your oil filter housing gasket will be leaking. You'll have a lot of leaks from everywhere. They need to be addressed. You can't just think you're going to drive this car to the other end of the country and it's going to get you there. It's not going to get you there. The main simple thing I always tell you, if you're planning to buy this car, make sure you have the parts ready. If you know you got a car, you've gone and seen it and you're ready to purchase it, as I said to you, just go and purchase your car. Like I said, I haven't got much to really say wrong about my car, because there is nothing wrong with my car. You guys already know that. You guys see that all the time. I am very OCD about my cars. I don't let them fall victim to any kind of part failure. As soon as the part fails, I will go and replace it. You guys already know that of me. I'm not one to sit here and just, you know, let it get neglected. You know, it's just not me. It never has been and never will be. All my cars are tip-top condition. The same still with the E46. I've got that car's driving perfect. I ain't had to really do any videos on it because there's nothing wrong with that car. It drives perfect. I use it day in, day out now. I use this one, sometimes it just sits there, but because I don't really want to rack up the mileage on it. You know, like I said to you, there is a lot you got to know about these cars. Like I said, just do not let anyone try and tell you why you should not buy one of these cars. Do not let other people's videos put you off by saying do not buy a used BMW E60. These people have bad experiences, and these are the kind of people that cannot fix it themselves and have not got the mental capacity to actually diagnose it themselves. Most of them, if you look at their videos, are old guys who have fixed old cars. They've either come from M54 and that was it. It's fried their brain coming to these cars. There's many channels, as you guys know as well, that's disappeared because coming to this kind of car with this kind of complexity will mess up their brain. They haven't got the brain cells to work out this car. They haven't got the brain cells to diagnose this car. They don't have the mental capacity to even clone one of the modules on it. They don't even understand the modules on it. If you ain't got no understanding of this car, don't even bother getting this car. This car, you need to have a brain. You cannot think you're going to be able to run this car, just buy it and drive it and fix engine components. It don't work like that. Engine components still need the adaptions reset to, because obviously when a part fails on these cars, as I've said to you before, the car learns the old parts failure. So if a part's failed, that's how the engine will carry on driving with that part failed. Resetting the adaptions brings the new part into action. The same for modules on this. As you guys know, they all need programming. You guys know that as well. These cars will not do well and will not drive good without the modules being updated. As I said again, I was the only one on YouTube to come along and show everyone that. Everyone didn't know how to get rid of their rough idle, and I've shown a load of you guys how to get rid of your rough idle. That was the common problem, and that's the problem it has always been. You know, once you guys have done that, you got rid of it. Another thing with the Vanos solenoids, you know, this is why a lot of people were getting rid of their cars, because they were using cheap Vanos solenoids, trying to clean them, and the problem wouldn't go away. And that's why a lot of people were saying why you shouldn't buy a used BMW, because their rough idle wouldn't disappear. If they stopped using cheap Chinese rubbish and used the proper genuine BMW dealer parts, their problem would go away and they would have a perfectly running car. You guys have seen it. You know, the proof is in the pudding with my one. My one idles perfectly, no problems. You can hear it ticking away right now. I have no issues with mine. It all goes by maintenance and how you look after that car. These cars are not bad cars. I'm here to shut these people down right now who keep putting these videos out saying why you should not buy a BMW. You know why? Because most of them are Toyota boys and Lexus boys, and I'm telling you now, I'm not none of that. You guys know that. I like Mercedes, I like BMW, like I say, but the E60 is a great car. It's a very, very good car, very reliable, very practical, and I'm still, like I said to you, modern. I can go down the road with this right now, and like I say, I've half the cars on my street. This car still looks newer than most cars sitting out there on the drive. Since I've come along, a lot more of you have felt comfortable to go and buy these cars because you guys have got me, and I've shown you a lot of things regarding the programming, diagnostics, and how to do it. I've gave a lot of you the software. A lot of you are aware of that as well. You lot are thanking me because you haven't been able to diagnose your cars ever until I come along and done it for you. Now you're able to diagnose your car yourself, and you don't have to worry about using cheap scanners and not being able to find the fault codes. You know, you're able to find the proper fault codes now, first time round, with no problem questions asked. And that is what I'm here for. You know, these cars are not bad cars. Anyone who was telling you they're bad cars, you know, sorry, talk out their ass. They, like you guys know, I can fix these cars with my eyes closed. They are not difficult cars at all. You know, I'm probably the only one who's got an E60 running in this kind of condition. Most people always have problems with them, but that's because of lack of maintenance and using cheap parts. Don't use cheap parts. Make sure you do your homework on these. Make sure you're willing to take the time out to learn. It is not an easy process. As you guys know, it took me nearly 8 years to learn how to do all this kind of stuff with these kind of cars, but now I'm that advanced with them. That is why I can own them and have no problems with mine, and that's why mine runs the way it does. Okay guys, so as you just seen there, you've just seen now why I've been telling you why you should buy a BMW E60. Now, realistically, the most common cause, as I said to you, is why people are telling people not to buy used BMW is because of the computer problems, and because they say they're expensive on parts and this and that. As I said to you, they're only expensive if you're not going to do the work yourself. If you're going to rely on a garage to do all the work yourself, and you're going to rely on a garage to diagnose it and do everything like that, it's going to become expensive. Now, as you guys know as well, normal garages don't do the programming and coding. You have to take it to the BMW dealer, and BMW dealer only uses the P. They can't do it the way I do. So that's going to be expensive as well, and in majority of the time they're going to brick your modules. You have to be aware of that, and when they do fix the parts on your car, majority of the time they're going to do it wrong because they have no idea how to fix these cars. So you got to be aware of that as well. You got to remember, technicians back in the era when this was made, like me, have now disappeared and gone on to other things. The technicians there now are the ones that are there from the F series, so they only understand F series. They know nothing about M52, M57. For them engines are like, what do we do now? That's what they will be standing looking at the engine. They don't need to know where it goes. They'll need to use ISTA to find exactly where that part is and how it gets replaced. So guys, if you are looking to buy one of these, I recommend going to buy a BMW 60. Don't listen to what others say. These cars are great cars and will continue to be great cars even in another 5 years. I don't think there's many cars out there that can still look as modern as this. The E63 and E65 are the most modern cars that blend in and still get looked at to this day and age. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. This was just a video I just wanted to put out because I was getting really angry seeing a lot of people putting out a video why you should not buy a used BMW. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.